I will talk to you about how I use Directus within my family for this talk. So basically, I would start with who I am. So my name is Andreas, as already mentioned. I'm father of three. Actually, I'm working as Atlassian consultant in a technical way, so mostly for digitalization, optimization, and so on. So at work, I do not have any contacts with Directus at all. So it's more on a hobby side and a private interest. Yeah, I'm living in a countryside outside of Berlin, so quite interesting journey today, and I like Directus a lot. At some point, Kevin asked me the other way around. I was helping out in the Discord and asked questions, answering questions, and so on, and then he just promoted me from a regular member to a moderator, and just overnight I was not informed about this. Thank you. Today I will talk about one project I'm using Directus for. So what was the problem? My children, I got two children, or three. Two of them get pocket money already. So they get them from different people, from the grandparents, from us, from aunts, uncles, and so. And yeah, they just play around with it. It's dirty. They stick it all over the rooms and so on. And also they try to steal it from each other. And so in the end, they lose it. So yeah, then we started to write some paper notes with the amount of money, gave it to them, and collect the money for them, but then they lose the paper. And in the end, they don't have the pocket money anymore, and they were sad. So my idea was to use, just as I do it on work, some digital assistants, and I came up with Directus. In the past, I've already worked with Directus several times, so I wrote my master thesis with Directus as a backend. There was a testing environment for automated UI tests, so I know the tool already, and started with Directus implementing a pocket money system. So it's very, very easy, but I guess the use case could be interesting because it's not a website or asset store or something like this. Basically, it's just containing a couple of collections, as you can see. So these were the actually collections where I store the information about the accounts of the children. So each child get one account. Then they have transactions, and also there's the third one, which is called transfer. This is currently not implemented completely, but the idea is there to store all the information and have an overview about the money, how much, what is the income, what goes out, and so on. So basically it's just a couple of collections. Currently a single flow that is updating all the stuff in the background once a new transaction is placed. And in the end, no more struggle. If they want to pay something, they ask us. We pay for it with our money because we have all the money on our personal bank accounts, and they just have some virtual money they can spend. So I guess yesterday my son came up, wanted to have a new game on the Switch. I paid for it, reduced his amount on the account, and they can have a look at any time what is the current amount. So basically that's it, and I'd like to show you how I was implementing this just in Directus, like this.
Are you connected to the telecom Wi-Fi?
Yes, I am. At home it was working. I swear. So that's the pain of self-hosting it, so I really should consider using the cloud.
Do you want to kill the Wi-Fi and join it again? Because when I did that, I got the little splash screen that reissued the certificate.
Now it's working. Yeah, as you can see, I've got a lot of collections just for all the private stuff I did. And today we will look at the pocket money sections. So as mentioned, you see the accounts. This is real data by mentioned. So my son is currently saving for a personal computer, and my daughter just bought an iPhone. So that's the result. So the current pocket money goes into this account. And yeah, there are also 2 testing accounts. I'm currently using this for setting up the new flow, because right now I've got only the transaction implemented. So currently you have to select the transaction, and this will just bring up a new dialog for you where you can enter all the details about which account, which amount, is it income, is it outgoing. So yeah, you can just select the account. You can also specify some date just for the record where you would like to look this up later on. So you can just use the interface here from the Data Studio, and then you can decide if you would like to have it as an income or an outgoing transaction. I used both fields and not a negative value for outgoing, just to have some differences, because sometimes they gave us 10 euros and want to have 20, and I don't want to calculate this by my own, so I just put the numbers in and fine with it. So as you can see, we can just enter amount, optional some comments to have the information later on what was this about, and just as I enter it, it will automatically update the account. So right now the account was just increased by 10 as expected, and if I go to new transaction, I can also reduce it, of course. So let's say we want to buy something for today of the same account, of course. So very basic. Yeah, in the end, it's currently just a single flow that just uses very basic information about what is going on. So every time a new transaction was placed, I will look up the account, get the current information about this account, read out the values, do some calculations, so get the current account, add the income, add the outgoing, and then save the new information within this account. If something goes wrong, it's locked. And yeah, the next step would be to implement this for the transactions as well. But as mentioned, this is currently not implemented, just starting about it, so it goes from one account to another directly. So right now I have to do 2 transactions, one is outgoing, one is incoming. This should be much easier, so they can transfer sometimes money from one account to another account. Currently they're not having the needs for it, but I guess it could be much easier if they have to use this. Yeah, basically that's it. Are there any questions, or should I talk about some other fancy things I do with my hobby projects?
I would love that too. Can I ask a question? So
Yeah.
how do your kids, firstly, do you charge interest to Isabel for being...
Sorry?
Do you charge interest to Isabel, an overdraft fee?
I was thinking about it. So there is actually a flow about sins, as we call it in German. So yes, I was thinking about it, but currently it's disabled, as you can see. But yeah.
It's okay. There's the looming threat there.
Yeah.
So how do they interact with it, or do they always interact with it through you?
Currently just with me directly, as they now have an iPhone, of course. I was also studying about building up an app for this. I've started a couple of months ago, but have actually no time to complete this. The login works already, so yay! So the rest should also work as well. Yeah, but I want to keep it simple for the moment. Yeah, of course, I have some insights as well. For instance, this is very basic. So just as I'm not the only one using it, I have no benefits right now. but yeah, could be as well used for this.
So are you using Directus as like something for a lot of stuff I saw there?
Yeah.
So
for instance,
what else are you doing with it?
Another one is about our newborn. So she has a tracking fitness tracker about the temperature, the heart rate, the oxygen level, and so on. And actually, it's tracking this also by using a flow. So I've kind of injected the app that comes with the tracker, which is not really handy because it sometimes turns off, or it got only connection to one phone and not to my wife, only to my, and so on. So I've started to track the data on the network and get the token they're using to transmit the data. And as you can see, this is now going to bed for 70 minutes. So she's sleeping, yay! And yeah, this is all the information I get from the tracker. And with this, I can just have some more information using insights, for instance. So it's tracking this every minute as mentioned. So you can see the last 30 minutes here. So usually the heart rate should go down further and further as she's sleeping. And the last 12 hours are not working because she's not wearing it over the day. And here's the data with just 2 hours. So we can also see if she gets awake, because then the heart rate starts to increase. And for instance, if she's ill or got fever, we also get to see the information that the heart rate, for instance, is much higher. And also this is currently implemented that once some thresholds are broken or overwritten, an alert is created. So I will not have to use the app that comes from the vendor, but instead an Opsgenie alert is created. So it fires my Apple Watch, my phone. 10 minutes later, I get a phone from Opsgenie that are calling and shouting to me that I should have a look up what is going on here. Currently also working for the battery level, for instance. So yeah, also very special use case, I would say.
How do you synchronize the data again, like from the watch to the database?
Actually, it's just reading the data from the application they offer. So the tracker sends the information to website, and I just read the website similar to the app that is on the phone. So it's not synchronizing the data, actually. It's just reading out and saving it in Directus.
Like periodic?
Yes.
Like scraping a web page, knowing where
Actually, it's an API that I'm calling with the flow. So the flow runs every minute, asking for the data, transform this into actual fields. So there's coming some JSON payload from the API, and I'm using a flow to transform this all into actual fields I can then work with. As you can see, the Opsgenie alerts are here as well. So every time a new record is created, it's checking about some variables, and if one of them is not okay, then an alert is created with an Opsgenie. And then all the rest is done by Opsgenie.
I remember when you first showed me this, your kid was ill, and their temperature, you could see like over time, their temperature suddenly shot up, and it was like, that's where the medicine wore off.
Yeah. But I have to notice you have to turn off the tracking and logging all of the flow and all the create events within those databases, because it started to get really slow on my instance. Because every minute so much data is collected and stored. I have 230,000 items in this collection, and it's just a single core instance with 2 GB of RAM or so. So it's coming to the end. But it's working fine.
What else do you use it for?
What else?
Or are these the main
I've already told I'm using it for laser cutter. So we have a laser cutter for handmade stuff. So my wife is needling, and every time she has an idea, I save the material and the settings, and I also have, I guess, some pictures. No, I don't. I have one, so I can just see the result, or not. Here it is. So this is the data from my newborn, so I can see which sets I'm using, which material, was it cutting, was it engraving, yeah, so I store all this information within Directus as well. Yeah, also some invoicing that comes to our mailbox, but I don't want to show you this. Also, the days of sickness of my child are tracked, so I can just have a look and compare this to the school. So I track each day a child is ill, and also started to use this as a PDF creation. So it just comes with one click. Currently, it's generating a PDF, or it doesn't. It's
We all saw it, it generated it.
no, it's still referring to a wrong URL, I see, so it's the old one. That's the problem. It's generating a PDF, but not with the actual data yet, so that's still on my to-do list. Anything else? No. Oh yeah, one funny thing. I've tracked the state of the TV power of my son. because it's in HomeKit, and there's an automation that sends the information to Directus, because he have a smart switch on the wallet and thinks he can trick me and turn it on after I turn it off. So every time he turns it on again, I will see it and can show him he turned it on again. So
Not thought about HomeKit automations.
yeah,
Did you just send like an HTTP request
Yeah.
for a flow?
yeah, it's just about communicating to each other. It's also possible to call it back to HomeKit, but I guess I have to implement this on some Raspberry Pi solution that is able to receive those requests. Yeah.
Is that a question? Or strategy?
There's another question.
Yeah, not really a question, just I really find it interesting that you're basically using Directus as home assistant, kinda, which is like a funny perspective that we could think to support more in the future. Which is interesting. Like just as a crazy idea, because like I also thought about tracking maybe my like finances over Directus. I use another tool right now, but this could be like Directus could be also like with insights and stuff like this. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, be free.
How would you describe the development process, let me call it that? So you got an idea, I want to track that.
Yeah. So basically it's a problem that I think of and try to find out a solution for this as often. And yeah, I'm very familiar with databases in general and with issue tracking systems. So I always think of how can I automate things and which information are necessary. And the cool thing is you can just add new fields, remove them, change them, add a new collection that just combines some information or features. So it's just more iterative. So starting with the accounts and add the current just overall value and do the math manually. Afterwards I store the transactions, and then flows come in, because in the middle I was just about to develop an own extension that do this, what flows now offers. But as not a full-time developer, I'm not so happy with the solution. It was not working, I guess. So with flows it's super easy. Yeah, so it was just starting with a simple one and then add some more features, change something, add new fields, remove them. Yeah. Does it answer the question, or?
Is it easy, or is it like?
For me, it's easy, yes.
That's an easy yes or no question, I know.
To be honest, it's much easier to have some simple automations compared to Jira, for instance. So I've also had the automation to have the cat litter cleaned by children with an automation in Jira, but it was too complex. It is you can set it up, but it Directus it's more easy.
Cool. Thank you. That was I loved getting that rolled into it. Oh, sorry. Did you have a follow-up? Yeah, cool. Thank you ever so much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.